Nairobi has become the leading hotspot for new HIV infections in Kenya, with 3,045 cases recorded in 2024, according to the Kenya AIDS Response Progress Report 2025.
There's more to what we're just saying, because most of the time we are being portrayed as careless, reckless, but watu uko mashinani, there's a lot of information gaps, there's a lot of misinformation. Tumefundishwa sana kuhusu HIV, but hatuambiwi ni nini prevention tunafaa kufanya, because there's a lot of a pool of prevention tools, lakini hatujui kuzihusu. I took some, what are they called, self-test kits to my friends back at home. So nikawambia mwenye nataka kupima achukue apime, akasema no, I don't think me I can, chenye sijui haitaniumiza. And the other one said I'll just take medicine and maisha iendelee, I won't die.
Counting down, this is my 15th year, basically doing community extension work and working with the communities. Behavior change, I would say generally, because you see, our work involves behavior change communication, and most of the time when you find someone at a particular state, you'll really have to struggle up with them for them to adopt the positive behavior and social behavior that is actually acceptable. The one striking is that when you get HIV, you die. It's still out there, and communities and families and basically people within the community have not yet accepted. We're still struggling stigma around HIV, despite the knowledge, despite all the efforts that have been actually put. So people think that when I test positive now, I will die. So that's what we normally struggle to take people through the adherence counseling once someone tests positive. Education, empowerment is key. Self-reliant and being able to sustain yourself is another thing. Because during the lockdown, we were not able to access these services. So some of the community mobilizers are being forced to physically look for these patients. So we taught them to be dependent and taking care of their health.
Previously, we used to have at the facility level support groups, which are still continuing, though they have slightly reduced. Then we also had some support group outside the facilities where we could do linkages to other organizations like St. John's, which used to offer some extra services. Like some of them could offer school items, some food, and some clothing, some even economical empowerment. But currently, those support has really reduced to almost none.
As a peer educator, I've learned a lot in terms of maybe HIV prevention and management. For example, at the facility level, I do follow-ups of clients who have missed their appointments, and also I do home visit for clients who are not taking their medications well. Like, for example, a client who has missed his or her appointment, I go to the community to look for them. However much it's so hectic sometimes, because you might call this particular client, but the number may be not going through, or you plan to meet with him or her, but when you get to the location where is indicated in the locator form or in the system, she maybe had vacated from the place. So it becomes very hectic looking for them in the community. Another challenge comes to where a client has turned HIV positive. On the first enrollment day, she does not want to take the medication, or rather, she will tell you that I'll go home, I'll go and think about it. But you know, when she go back home, maybe she was also diagnosed with TB, it becomes another work looking for her again, because she might infect the other persons or even the household. Okay, let me say it has affected the adherence to some of the patients, because in as much as we do counsel them, tunawambianga HIV treatment is your personal responsibility, right? Tunawambianga hivyo. But here comes a case, kuna yule mtu mwenye amezoeanga tu lazima pigiwe simu ndo atakuja. Ama unapata saa hii kuna client atakuja saa hii akwambia never have been waiting for the call, kwani siku hizi ampigi simu, you see.
Most facilities that were supported by donors shut down.
We call them transit refill. A client who is not registered at that facility but is coming in with a story, nachukuanga dawa mahali fulani lakini niko mbali kidogo, so naomba ya mwezi mmoja. You come here, maybe you give him or her 1 month, then goes another facility. So with that, it later on started affecting now the appointment keeping. So you give a phone call to a client, unajua so and so nafaa ukuje kliniki kesho, but she's like, bado niko na dawa. You see? Yes. And for those whom the facility closed, some perhaps they are still not yet back on care. Yes, because like at the nearby facility to my facility, I have 2 facilities which have closed. Yes, and some of them maybe they are not issued with the transfer letters. So I'm receiving clients who are coming in that, nilikuwa nachukua dawa so and so facility but nilienda imefungwa. So nimekosa dawa siku 2, wiki 1, mwezi, you see? So munisaidie. So we are just recruiting them, but it's likely to affect especially the viral suppression. Knowledge is power, and we still continue to emphasize that irrespective of age, HIV services and in general sexually transmitted infection services or treatment is readily available at most of the government facilities.
Vera and other advocates highlight the crucial need for community-based support and resources. With the right information, support, and accessible services, we can overcome the stigma and disruptions that continue to fuel the spread of HIV.
Because of stigma. So unapata ukimwenda kumtafuta mobilize kuna activity, anaona anajificha. Na wengine watamuona. So inakuwa ngumu sana. Mpaka sasa inabidi inamueleza kwa undani vizuri ili apate kufahamu kwa nini unamuita, ili apate manufaa yake. Nishapoteza mgonjwa. Inakuwa machungu sana. Hiyo siku unashinda na huzuni mingi sana. Hatukubali kwa sababu ni mtu umekuwa naye kwa safari kisha ameaga. Inakuwa uchungu sana. Hiyo siku hata kwako unashindwa kukula. Ule mgonjwa, sasa mgonjwa ana ugani wako. Ule mgonjwa wako amefariki. Fulani amefisa ngapi, alipopelekwa Mbagathi alifariki. Sikutarajia atakufa haraka hivyo. Alifariki, alafu pia alikuwa na mtoto wake pia, mwenyewe pia mtoto pia kwa katika dawa. So huyo mtoto kama amekuwa kama mimi kwa mlezi wake, maana yake nimemfuatilia.
The future depends on the choices youth make today. Protect yourself, get informed, and know your status. Let's end the stigma and create a new response to HIV.